Hello, folks. In this video, we're going to learn cloud, what is cloud, and I'm not going to go very deeper in terms of how cloud works and all other things. I'm going to cover from the developer perspective. Like I'm a developer, I have my application or code, and I just need to migrate them into cloud. And I will just also show how the Azure portal will looks like, how you can deploy your application in the upcoming videos. So this video, let's talk about, so because you need to understand the cloud before you deploy anything in your application. So let's talk about the cloud, what is cloud and how it differs from on-prem application. So the traditional, you look at here, in traditional way, how the it operates. So let's say you have an office, you go and have a work office and connect your network and you have your application. So usually the company will manage a data center. So mostly it will be like they'll have a list of servers, and it could be inside the office or outside the office. They might have the private network. So what would happen is when you have application, when you deploy or you have a database, so everything holds in a server. I hope you're good at server, what is server, how it looks. So here you'll have all the softwares, whatever. So every assets, every um, resource will have in the data center. So when you log in your application, it goes to server and get the details. And when you install some application, it goes to there, get everything when you store. So basically, it's more private. The company manage the server, and anything goes on either physically or a software upgrade, the company needs to pay and take care of it. For example, when server is physically damaged, so what they have to do is what they have to buy a new server, and they have to replace, or any upgrade they have to take care, any software upgrade or any physical upgrade they have to take care. So it's kind of, you company owns the whole infrastructure, and anything, the power supply and the cooling, everything is company owned. So that's a traditional way it operates. So after cloud come into picture, the main difference you see, still the cloud provider, let's say here Azure, and the other cloud famous provider AWS, and you'll see Google, everybody have the cloud. So what's the big difference? They will have the similar data center in different locations. Let's say location UK, they might have a multiple data centers, and US multiple data centers. Still you're going to connect, but the difference is it's going to be managed by the cloud provider, and you are not going to manage the server. And you are not going to own the whole data centers, and they'll be assigning some sort of a space for you based on your configuration. Let's say today, let's talk about simple application. So today I have application in Java, where user come to website and they log in and they see list of my product, and that's saved into the database. So what you need, basically you need a web-based portal or application, and you need some sort of backend process. It may be Java, let's say, and you have a database where you store all your products. So now you have everything running on this server, and your company thinks, okay, I cannot manage this. I need to move them into cloud, so that the cloud will manage, and I just pay them what it consumes, because it has a different subscription price, so they can just pay, and they don't need to have the overhead of maintaining. So what we do usually, let's say Azure, so you have to go to Azure portal, and you just register your credit card, and you just need to log in, and this portal, right? For example, Azure will have every all the applications pretty much you needed um, there. So you can simply spin off any virtual machine, you can create any database, you can create any application. I will also talk about how different way we can deploy your application, in this case like Java web based application. So the main advantage why the companies usually go to the cloud, there are very important then um, features. Which first thing is the cost saving. So if a company, let's say I have a one server, now my company got a lot more clients. I need to scale them up. So what I have to do is, in terms of physically, I need to buy a land or something. I have to expand my data center. Physically, I have to buy a land. Then I have to buy all the servers, and I have to buy all the equipments. Then I have to get the internet connection. I have to set up everything. Usually it's the overhead and also the managing, and also you have to install all the software, and the softwares have license cost you need to pay. And in case if you are it's really good if you are small company, you are trying to develop and you are startup, right? So that time you might not have the whole lot of money to maintain and create infrastructure. Or if you have a project, you're going to do POC, and after the POC you may not get the project and you may need to shut down. For the period of time, you don't need to buy a server and you don't need to install and manage everything. But instead, if there is a place where you can simply go there and just order what you want, and just do your application deployed and do your POC, then if need you can continue, otherwise you don't need to continue. And that's where the cloud plays a vital role. So you don't need to do all the stuff, so you can simply go and spin up whatever the resource you wanted. I will show you the Azure portal how it looks like. That's a main advantage, and also the cost perspective. So in your data center, regardless of how much you utilize, let's say I have one database which is very less volume, but still I need to maintain my whole server, and I have to pay the whole server electricity and the usages, right? Whereas in the data cloud, you don't need to pay or maintain everything, so you can pay just what you use, right? Let's say I have a database, I have 100 gig of memory I need. You can just pay for 100 gig of memory, and you just need one or two core CPU. You're gonna use it. You're just gonna pay only for that. And if you want scale up, you can scale up, and you can just use for that. When it scale it down, you can just use it further. So it's more flexible. That's why nowadays companies pretty much they are migrating into cloud, and they don't need to maintain hold the servers. And also if you have office across multiple countries, so the cloud providers has multiple data centers, so you can choose which location. When you create any database, you can also choose which location you can have the resource or the application managed. So, but as a user, you don't really feel where the really application. That's why we call it cloud. It could be in anywhere in the world, but you feel like you're using it from local, or it's like a nearest data center. That's a little biggest advantage. So let me show you how the Azure portal looks like. Um, Let me go here. So this is the Azure portal. It looks like where you have a lot more applications. Let me open all the service it provides. So if you look at this, you have so many applications, so many software, so many the tools related to application. You can simply click and create that. You don't need to really go and install and buy all the product and licensing. That you don't need to worry about anything. You just simply need to. So if you're a user, if you don't have a service, what you need to do is go to portal.azure.com. Then what you have to simply do is just register your phone number, just your email address, and also you can just provide, but it mostly asks your credit card for billing, and you provide the details. What would happen is it will create the subscription for you, and you can get this kind of portal where you can have a lot of application for your application. You can simply select what you want. For example, I need a virtual machine in cloud, or I need to set up a SQL database. You can just matter of click and select what location you want, and you can simply spin it off. So probably in my next videos I will show you how you can create the resource and how you can spin off deploy your application. So let me also go here. Let it says what are the database it supports. Look at the computing powers and networking. So everything here, you can choose what you wanted. You can, based on your requirement, you can simply create. And also you may need to create some of the networking components when you design your application. That's a one little challenge you might end up when it comes to the enterprise level application, because some you don't need to expose every application to the public, right? You would need to have this your very private. Even though it's a public cloud, you don't need to anybody don't public no need to go to access your private application. Let's say you have application in your application that actually exposed only for your client, not for the public. So you can able to configure them using the networking components. So the networking components allow you to restrict the access your application from outsider. You can also configure for specific IP you can access that resource. There are a lot of good networking component the available, but if you are a beginner it's a little challenging, but as you go you can easily learn how you can set up all the private DNS, public IP, and the different DNS. I hope this is really useful for you if you are a beginner. In my next video, I will also explain. Let's say you have a code, how you can, what are the different way you can deploy your application. For example, as I said, you have application in Java, and you have application Angular, and say MySQL. Right now you manage in your private on-prem server. Now you need to migrate them into our Azure. So how you can create virtual machine. So let's look at that in next videos. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and you can also like my video. I'm gonna create multiple videos on how you can deploy your applications and how to spin up create a virtual machines, how